Hello, welcome back to Southern Family Homestead. Thank you for joining me. Looks like prices are going up, and it looks like it's the possibility of prices going up even more on food. One of the main reasons that we decided to sell our house and move back to the country was to be more self-sustainable, to grow our own food, and really just kind of have a simpler lifestyle. And now last year we had a garden. It did okay. We didn't have as much as we had hoped to, but it was not a good gardening year and we had a lot going on. This year, we are going to plant a lot more than we ever have. We're going to try to grow as much food as we possibly can. So in order to get those gardens started, I've got to get a head start. Now, one of the big ways to get the garden started earlier is to go ahead and plant seeds inside. You plant them inside, you look at the last average frost date, and you back up from there on how many weeks the packet says to start. You know, usually it's 6 to 8 weeks. And you plant your seed inside using a special soil mix for seeds, and then we'll put it under grow lights. Now, if you don't have grow lights, that's fine. You can put them in the window for right now, or just make sure it has as much sun as possible. Earlier this week, I was able to plant some seeds, get them started inside, and here's how that went. Okay, I'm back in the shop now, and it's time to get everything ready. Here are the seeds that we're going to plant. Earlier I said we're planting a few zinnias. We're going to get a head start on those. I'm going to try to plant a few watermelons inside. Most of the watermelons I'll directly sow, but I'm going to plant just a few of them. Also, most of what I will plant is heirlooms, but I'm going to plant some of the Better Boy hybrids. I know they do good in this area. Also, I've got beefsteak tomatoes, the Mortgage Lifter tomatoes, Abe Lincoln tomatoes, and Cherokee purple. So I'm going to try a variety of them and see what our family really likes best. And one of the things I'm going to try this year is using organic seed mix. This organic seed mix is Whitney and Farms. You don't have to have this particular brand, just you do have to have a seed mix or something that's really light and made for starting seeds. Drop my knife down in the water bucket. And again, this is how we start our seeds. We've been doing it for 3 years. You may have a better way. If you do, please let us know in the comments. And another thing that I'm starting to do this year is keep a notebook of everything to write down where we purchased the seeds from, when we started it, type of soil we used, and that kind of thing. All right, I'm going to pour some water in here. We'll want this soil to soak up this water. You don't want it too wet, but you don't want it too dry either. That may be a little too wet. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of dry in here. Again, it is real important that you use a seed starting mix. The garden soil it doesn't drain well, and you could bring some diseases in, so you want to make sure you use a fresh seed starting mix for this. Now I'll go ahead and put this soil into our reusable tray. Now you don't have to always get reusable trays. You can even plant in cups. Just make sure you put a drain hole in it. I like these new trays. The only problem is I wish they would have come with a humidity dome. So instead of the humidity dome, we'll probably use some plastic wrap or something like that. And I've got a few things for some other brand trays that may work, but you want to make sure you put something on top in order to keep that moisture in and keep the soil from drying up. Now, one of the things that I'm doing this year is numbering each tray. This way I can keep up with it in the notebook and tell exactly what kind of soil I used and what seeds, where the seeds came from, that sort of thing. Now, I'm planning these seeds indoors roughly about 5 to 6 weeks before the last frost date. The last frost date in my area, which is zone 8, is roughly around April 1st. If you're not sure, you can go to one of your seed stores or planting stores, not the big box stores, but one of the hometown type stores, local stores. They'll tell you, or if you could find one of the older people that have gardened for many years, they can probably be a lot more accurate. Okay, now that I have the trays labeled, of course, I'm going to keep up with it in this notebook. And it's time to start planting. Purchased seeds from, I think, about 3 different companies: Burpee, Baker's Creek, and Gurney's. For the seed depth, you'll always want to look at your package. These should be about 1/4 inch deep. You might wonder why even go through the trouble of planting inside. One of the big reasons is you get a better variety. You can't find some of these plants in the local stores. Also, you get more for your money. Seeds are a lot cheaper than the plants, and you really get a jump start on planting. You can have your plants ready to go when that last frost date comes. New variety that we're planting that I've heard a lot of people talk about is the Cherokee purple tomatoes. Okay, before I forget it, I want to also label it with these popsicle sticks for now. I'll just use these inside the shop for now, but I'll have to put something more permanent when we go outside. Now, when we get these trays sitting on the heat mats, that's going to keep them warm for germination. And you want to always make sure you don't overwater and you don't want to underwater. You want to always water from the bottom and let that soil soak up the water. And you want to get that soil moist, but you don't want it just soaking wet. Okay, on this one, I think I'll just try this off of another brand. See how that works.
Huh?
No.
Well, I mean, there's two.
And then when they sprout, I have some grow lights and we're ready to go. There we have it. We have the seeds ready to germinate. I've got them on heating pads. Now, if you don't have heating pads for the seeds to keep it warm, put it on top of the refrigerator, and you don't have to have the fancy trays either. You can try it with cups, just poke some holes in it. You want to keep that soil moist and you want to keep it warm for them to germinate. Once they germinate, you're going to want them to get some kind of light. Now, I have some grow lights. If you don't have grow lights, you can put it in a window or have it in a bright place where it can get some sun. A regular incandescent or fluorescent light will not work. If you're going to use light, you're going to have a grow light. And that's what I have that I use, is some grow lights. But we didn't start out with grow lights and we didn't start out with all this. We just started out with just a few seeds and some starter mix a few years ago and slowly work up to this. So if you're trying to start some seeds, try it. It's a lot cheaper in the long run. You can get a lot more plants in your garden and get them started than buying the little plants. The little plants, I think, cost $2 to $3 per plant. Seeds, you can get seeds that are probably $3 to $5 now for a whole pack of seeds, and you can plant a lot more. There's plenty of places online to find some seeds, and we are mostly trying to use seeds that we can replant. We have a few hybrids, but we're trying to stay away from the hybrids as much as possible. There are some hybrids that we are using that really do good in this area. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you like the channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. We'll see you next time.